Well, hey, y'all, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, this is Joe and Jay Outspoken. Remember to follow all of our platforms, and you can find them by going to Linktree/Joe and Jay Outspoken. Today's show is for Tuesday, October 24th. I'm Jay, and today Joe and I will be going over social justice warriors, their influence on political correctness, and how their brand of activism has shaped society, along with who and what these social justice warriors are really fighting for. All right, Joe, you ready for some social justice?
Man, I'm ready. I'm ready to expose these frauds. That's what I'm ready to do. Let's do it, brother.
Yeah, and it's like we're in the Twilight Zone, but for dumb people. All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you here. Hopefully you got a chance to watch last week's episode. If you didn't, you can find the link to that in the description, or just go check out the channel. They're all over the place. Can't miss it.
No, you cannot.
Cannot miss it. We're on all the social media platforms, so check us out there and, yeah, join up. Anyhow, all right, here we are.
Man,
social justice.
Well, I mean, guys, first off, it's comical, man. I apologize that I'm laughing about it, but what are they really fighting for? I mean, in reality, social justice warriors, the people that we call social justice warriors, are mostly very liberal people, right? There's really, I mean, you pick anything, right? I think a couple of episodes previously we talked about Zina Bryant, which was the one that Dove hired for fat liberation.
The little girl?
Yeah. And again, guys, I just want to apologize. We went going with that whole fat liberation thing, and we actually made that the episode. So I apologize for that. But we talked about that.
It's such a big subject. So
no pun intended.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But if you look at those things, it's like you're trying to normalize stuff that's not normal, right? Like, okay, I get it. You know, people should feel comfortable in their bodies, but they should do that in a healthy way, right? So for these people to just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and be a social justice warrior on fat liberation. And here's the problem, Jay. The problem is not so much that they find a cause and they start, fighting for it or whatever. The problem is that in doing so, they tear other people down.
Right.
And that's the biggest problem is that, they can't stick to one thing. Like that biggest fraud that's out there right now, the BLM, right? They can't sit there. They have to have it their way. Black Lives Matter. That's it. Just Black Lives Matter, which is totally against anything that a conservative would think, because right, to a conservative, all lives are important, not just one right. Race. And they could sit there and tell you, it's like, well, yeah, you guys are, the dominant force or the dominant race. You guys have for forever this and that, and we've been enslaved.
But who's the you guys?
BLM. So BLM is calling the you white folk, but I categorize myself in that because as a Mexican, we're Caucasian, right? We fall under.
That's what you have to check in the box.
We fall under being Caucasian.
How about the Asian people or the Native Americans? Where do they fit in the Black Lives Matter category?
They don't. It's all about one, right? And they act as if they've suffered all. First off, I don't think anyone's alive that was a slave at this point. And there might be one or two, but I don't think there's any.
I mean, in different countries, there's still currently slaves, and nobody talks about that.
Correct. So. And that's the biggest problem that I feel is that, okay, look, man, you're so about this movement, but now let's take it another step. So they're talking about Black Lives Matter and all this, and all they did was create chaos, right, and destruction and everything else. What did they bring to the table? That's my biggest thing, right? You have other groups that are out there, like I think what was the Mexican group, Mecha or something like that. I can't remember, but it was a club in high school,
right?
And that was for the I think the betterment of Hispanics, right? To like get to college and things like that, right?
But that was good. It was uplifting and
correct. And you kind of, you were able to connect with someone that's probably had the same background as far as coming from Hispanic family where your parents worked, you had to work, and there's, life was tough, right? So you guys had something in common that helped you get through the struggles of high school and learning and things like that. I know we have a lot of friends that were in that club, if you recall.
Right.
So I understand those groups, right? They help, they build, they create. It's a positive message. But then you have BLM, right? Or the Fat Liberation Army over here. And what they're not doing nothing. All they do is they tear down other races as far as what BLM does, or tear down people who are not heavy, right? In as far as the Fat Liberation and what Dove did. That's the problem. You that's not social justice.
No.
That you're going down a path that you're blacklisting people, right? You're tearing them down, you're deplatforming them, you're doing all kinds of things because of your social justice. And that's, to me, that is ridiculous. And you're destroying lives, but in turn, you're not improving anything. Right? So what has BLM done for any of these communities in Minneapolis when they burned everything down? What did they do? Did they build communities up? Did they build let me ask you this. Did they build a community center?
No.
Did they give loans out to all these people that within their own community they destroyed?
No.
Okay. Did they fight for anything just? I'm not saying burn down buildings, take shoes and clothes and stuff. I mean, did they fight for anything just?
Absolutely
no. So the main people for BLM, what they do, they got houses in white communities in California, right? I mean,
that's the kicker.
How does that help the Black Lives Matter movement? You know what I mean?
If you bought, an area in a, downtrodden area, right, that's predominantly Black folks, and you put in, like you were saying, some kind of center for young kids, or you did buy a mansion and you say, you know what, I'm going to have people come and stay with me, these folks that are having a hard time in their life and everything. But you know what, they didn't do that. They moved into these all white neighborhoods, bought these huge houses, and did nothing.
They moved away from the hood.
They moved away from the place that they're saying that they love and they're defending. And it's just, it's crazy. Well, the thing is, and we mentioned this on another episode, about 10% of the populace, the world populace, is left-handed. About 10%. Okay. Less than that is what, when you get into the LGBT community and all that, there's less than that of most of these folks, right? Especially throughout the world when you take world numbers. So, this is a right-handed world. So are we being discriminatory towards left-handed people? And should we all, as right-hand people, say, if you're right-handed or left-handed or whatever, if you're right-handed, should you give up your whatever, some kind of right? Should we start putting door handles on the other side? Should, if you go to England, they're all backwards anyways, but that's technically they drive in a left-handed based car because you're on the right-hand side of the vehicle when you're driving. So should we start to do that?
Left hands matter.
Left hands matter. Oh man, we're going to start that up. We're going to have some shirts in the shop here pretty soon, guys. Left hands matter. So, and I'm not making fun of, I've got people that are very close to me and that I love very much that are left-handed. And
my mom was ambidextrous. She was left and right.
Yeah. My grandmother was ambidextrous too. So, she pitched baseball with the right hand, but she wrote and drawed with her.
You know why though, right? Because when my mom was young, she was a lefty, but when you go to school back then, that was like a demon child. So they corrected you and said, no, you write with your right hand.
Yeah.
So it taught my mom how to write with both hands.
My mom got, if you talk to her, she'll tell you in school, because she's a lefty, and they beat her left hand to make her write with her right hand, with the ruler. So stuff that, the kids nowadays would go home crying and everything.
Oh, they get canceled. The teachers would get canceled, bro.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so I mean, I bring that up as an example of the silliness of all this stuff. Listen, people shouldn't be discriminated against. Okay, people shouldn't be. I get it. We shouldn't make fun of people if they're chunky or short or too tall or whatever the case may be.
All of the above, bro. Come on,
You're too tall. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
In your platform shoes.
In my hey. But here's the thing, man. I'm comfortable in my body. You know, I'm not here to impress anybody. You know, I have my kids. They know dad. You know how I look. I am who I am. You know, I've never had that issue. And you know me. You know, I'm short, bro. I'm like 5'9". I'm short. You know what I mean? And I'm not 5'9". But but the point is that people ask me like, oh, man, does it bother you being short? I'm like, nah. I mean, it's not like I just shrank last week.
Right.
I've been this height forever now. You know, so you know it's not a big deal to me. You know?
So that's one of those things. So think about that for a second. So a lot of this stuff, and I'm not going to pick on women or anything, but so take like a dating profile or something like that. What's one of the things that women will say is one of their big deals?
Height,
right? So they would say, "Oh, I'm not going to date a short guy."
Dude.
So, but if we put on our profile, we want a specific weight, I'm not going to date a fat chick. Now that became an issue, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
but we know that the things aren't fair, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly.
Well, and I don't really care on that end of things, but this is where
I like them tall.
Yeah.
Man, that's not hard. That's probably every chick. So look, that's not the point. But that leads me into exactly what we're talking about today about social justice warriors. It's one-sided,
right?
Just like that example you gave. So if a woman puts on her profile, no short man, people are gonna go like, no big deal.
Preference.
Right?
It's a preference,
right? But if a guy says that, they're like,
no fat chicks.
You pig.
Yeah.
Right. You pig.
Shallow how.
Yeah. Right. So that's exactly the same thing that we're talking about when it comes to social justice warriors, right? They are like one-sided. These are the progressive left. Right. And why? And these are just my opinions. Why do you think that they started? Why do you think we have social justice warriors? Because they felt like they didn't fit in. Right.
Right.
And they have to create chaos and turmoil and make a big deal. And because if you look at all these social justice warriors, they're in your face. Right. They got these signs up there in your face. They're screaming and yelling.
Nonsense. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'll be honest with you, America, we are losing the battle, and that's something you and I were talking about earlier today. We're losing a battle in politics, even away from politics. Just being conservative, we're losing that battle. Why? Because we are fighting amongst each other. The Democrats have led the way in being able to manipulate their voters and have them like united.
Oh yeah,
while we're falling apart. Right. And again, this is what that social justice warriors do. They go in there and they start dividing people. They start, making people start like thinking about like, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. And then you have all these people. And I hate to say, Jay, a lot of your white folks start feeling this guilt, right? Like, oh my God, we oppressed them. Oh my God, it's because I'm white. It's my fault. Right. And you guys start feeling guilty and bad. And I'm like, please, I ain't feeling guilty about anything. Like right now, I hate jumping around, but right now we currently have a situation in Israel with the Palestine. So everybody's like, oh, this and back and forth. Right now, our own nation is divided on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? If you ask me, man, look, let me tell you, I'm a Christian, right? I was raised Catholic. I'm a Christian now. Have you seen how the Jews over there treat Christians? They spit on them. They shove them. They hit them. They treat us like turd birds over there, right?
Right. The turd birds.
I mean, come on, man. They're not that clean. All right. You guys got to remember they killed baby Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, it was them. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'm just saying it, bro. I'm saying the truth. I'm preaching. So, my point is, you still now again. What has that created? What has this divide created? This more social warriors, right? You had all these people that support Palestine. They went into their capital, right? They gathered gathered. I got to say those things. I don't want to get
in our capital.
Yeah, and they gathered in our capital. There wasn't an insurrection; it was a gathering at the Capitol because of this. Back in Michigan, in Dearborn, big old protests out in the roads. You've seen that, right? You saw it in the street. It's happening everywhere in the U.S., right? And what do we have right now in the U.S.? Open borders. We have open borders, right? So we probably, who knows what we have over here right now?
Yeah.
Who knows what kind of cells we got going on over here, right? But the whole point is that these individuals, these one-sided, left-hanging individuals that you call social justice warriors, all they're doing is creating divide. They're creating hatred. They're creating so much stuff, and no one could see that. I mean, if us as conservatives go out there and try to talk, for example, if you want to, and I've seen this on videos, I forget his name, but I love hearing him. He goes out to universities and he talks about God, right? And he's open to anybody. Hey, ask me a question, and he's going to answer that question. But the amount of people that go to him and just spew hate, right?
And we hate Christians. They straight up say that.
Yeah. They hate
them. We hate you. We hate Jesus.
Yeah. And they say worse. They don't just say we hate Jesus. They say a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And to each their own. But the point is, if that was a conservative saying it to a liberal, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, they'd be fired from their job.
Yeah. But it starts from the government down to the states, to the counties, to the cities. They're all favoring these social justice warriors, man, because they don't want to get targeted. They're scared. And that's a problem that we're having today in society, is that we are becoming a country of just scared people.
Yeah.
We don't want to, I don't want to get canceled.
Right.
I don't want to lose my followers. I don't want to, why? Because we're scared to say what the truth is.
Yeah.
The fact that, you're spewing hate and we have to take it. No, I'm not going to do it.
I've seen online these, because we go to church. So, and I've seen these
say with pride, brother,
pastors and preachers that are online, and obviously they have their own congregations, their own churches and everything, but where they will be like towing the line and embarrassed to say anything about like the gender deal and also abortion.
They've accepted them in church. What are you talking about?
And jeez. Sometimes they're wearing like the rainbow and everything,
Oh man,
and that's it's actually
the Pope. Dude, the Catholic Pope has gone woke. I'm crazy. Like, bro, Pope John Paul would have never fallen for that.
No way. So you remember last Sunday we're sitting there, and I punched you because the pastor
2A?
said, "Huh,
the 2A."
Yeah, he said the 2A, and then he also said that there's only two genders. And, and these things, unfortunately, people are scared to say that. Now, that's their opinion, and you would say, well, this is, people's rights and to believe who they are and what they feel and everything. Well, how about the other people that feel the other way, that we're going by thousands of years of what we've went by? That's, children have only been born of a male and female parent, right? So, we're trying to change something that has been ingrained in our brain, society, everything else for all this time. So when you go into this, right, you have people that are biased, left-handed or right-handed, right? And just talked about that a minute ago or two. You're born with hands, and some people are born without, like maybe they're born with a right hand that doesn't work or without a right. So they're naturally going to use
they adapt.
They're going to adapt. Correct. So, other than that, there's normalcies that we have in society that most of us have agreed that we should try to stay normal. Now, people want to dress up and, go with, we used to have people in mental institutions that thought their name was Daffy Duck and they'd walk around in circles and quack. Was that their right to do that? Or should we have, taken care of those folks because they had mental instability? And every single person, there's so many people that are out there that are against 2A and such. And why are they against it? Well, it's the gun's fault. Well, no, we have some mentally disturbed individuals that are out there. And we refuse to acknowledge that. And then on top of that, we are putting medals around their neck. We have this Dylan Mulvaney that just got some kind of award. I'll put it up on the screen here, but got an award for like Woman of the Year. I mean, that should be so disrespectful to all the actual women that are out there. And again, I don't care what Dylan does on his, it's, hers time. It doesn't matter.
He could be gay all day.
It can be gay all day.
No one cares what he does.
No. But the fact that people are putting him on a pedestal to say that he's so brave and everything, I'm really sorry.
Did you just mention about him winning Women of the Year or something like that? Right? I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, how much of a laugh are we to other nations? Dude, they just picked a man to be a Woman of the Year. Well, how does that? I mean, where are you? Where's the feminist of the world? They used to fight us for every little thing, and all of a sudden they're accepting a man to be a woman and take their award. I mean, ladies, let's do better, But here's the thing, Jay. Honestly,
feminism has failed us,
bro. So many things have failed us here. But here's the thing: we have from the beginning of time when we've had these people with mental issues, and we've had them for a long time, right? Some of these movies were created because of them, right? We had like Dracula, right? The guy was mental and drank blood, and they called it, he had a vampire syndrome or whatever. Mm-hmm. We've never ever, as a society, have never learned how to deal with the mentally ill, ever. We back in the day, what would we do with them? We'd put them in hospitals, put them in straitjackets. We'd perform lobotomies on them, right? Everything. We electroshock. I mean, nothing worked, right? How many institutions closed, right? And then they opened another one under a different name or under a different methods that they used, right? Because they already killed too many crazy people. They're like, hey, we don't. The reality of things is we don't know how to deal with it. We don't know how to treat it, right? We don't know all these, and all we do is, and here's the thing that, and this is something because I hate going to doctors. I hate taking medication. I hate being labeled. I hate doing all that stuff. And one of the things that even when my kids were younger, and my baby mama, she wanted to take them, and I didn't want to take them because I hated that they would want to put labels on them or give something a name that this is what's wrong with them, or they're so quick to do that, right? Because it's all about the greenback, right? Everybody wants to make money,
right?
And so everybody wants to give them a name because what's wrong with that illness? It's this or it's that, or you're having gender dysphoria. Now gender dysphoria is not a thing anymore, right? Now it was. But they keep changing what is that book?
Because they can make more money off of the transitioning of people than they can for the medication for gender dysphoria.
Yeah, correct. So everything
it's about money.
Everything gets moved around. They don't about money.
They don't care about you or the state of your mental health.
Because honestly, Jay, we don't know how to deal with it. People don't know how to deal with mental illness. I mean, come on, man. You see them. They go to prison. They have people that talk to them, right? Psych techs, and they're talking to them. They give them medication. They're still crazy. Mm-hmm. They haven't changed.
Right.
They're still the same people.
But they're going to keep getting a medication because somebody's making money off of it.
Exactly. Or keep them sedated or do whatever the case is. We're not winning that war. No. We're not. And the reality is that we just keep extending the names for illnesses instead of trying
it's all euphemisms.
Right. But the reality is if you want to be a social justice warrior, then be that for everyone, not just one-sided, not just for things that are personal or just for you or because it didn't work out for you. You want to be a social justice warrior about something that impacts you. Come on, man. Learn to live your life. Learn to deal with turmoil that comes your way. Everyone's going to have it. Everyone's going to have to deal with some hard times in their life. But instead of being out there and crying about it, do something about it, right? And Candace Owens says this all the time. Hey, suck it up. Wipe your tears and move up, right? And you have to do that. I mean, that's the reality of things is, what? Dude, growing up, we talked about this about I Am a Man, right? Where as kids you fell, as a boy you fall, you get up, your dad's get up, suck it up, you'll be fine. You know what I mean?
You start sniffling or crying. He's like, shut up, don't cry.
Right.
Get up.
But in reality, you think about it now, you're like, man, that wasn't really a big deal. You scraped your knee, right?
Right.
And you're like, I'm like, yeah, right. So what if I cried a little bit? Not a biggie. Now you scrape your arm. In our age, you scrape or something, you get mad. You're like, you blame the door for it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just things that happen. And I'm not gonna sit there and start becoming a social justice warrior for wider doors because my little short stubby ass couldn't fit through it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god, we need wider doors. You guys are making
this is
these
so
narrow, and that's so stupid.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, buddy, how about losing some weight or maybe turning sideways to get through the door?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, man. It's just, to me, we are going down, you know, when it comes to that. And here's the problem. As a nation, as a government, we feed right into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it generates votes, it generates backing. You know, I mean, we have an administration right now that would jump on any social bandwagon they could to generate votes for the next election. Absolutely, 100%. You know,
I get it, but at one point it's gonna hit you in your behind. If you don't believe me, ask Bud Light.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. At one point, it's gonna have to stop. You're gonna hit a wall.
Right. Well, because people start to wake up. I mean, it's you know, like everything else that's happened in the world. You know, you got to imagine that people have to remember that. I hear it all the time, and everybody's a Nazi, right? Everybody's a Nazi. If you don't agree with
only the white people,
only the white people. And everybody's a Nazi. I can't stand that word is thrown, because the more you throw a word around, the less it has any meaning. Or the more
let's go with white supremacist.
Right? Yeah, everybody's a white supremacist. So
that's everybody. Because if you're Mexican and you kill more than 2 people, like a serial killer, you're a white supremacist.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Candace Owens. She was talking about that the other day. She was like, they're calling me a white supremacist, you know, and so at this point, that word has no meaning anymore, you know? And so there was elections held, right, in Germany many years ago, and it was a couple votes that had to go through, and finally, this man named Hitler was voted into office. Time magazine. Adolf.
Yeah,
Adolf.
I remember him.
So, yeah. Remember that guy?
I remember that guy.
So here in the United States, Time magazine, I can't remember what year it was, but 1938, 39, something like that. I'll put it up here. Time magazine had him as the person of the year. So at one time,
of course we did.
Yeah. At one time, I mean, he wasn't looked at as such of a bad guy, right? And then all of a sudden, everything turns and he becomes terrible. Well, just like Joe was talking about, you know, hitting a wall, people did hit a wall with that guy. And one of the, you know, we would say, well, the Allies and all this got him out of office. You know, the people that helped get him found and you know, betrayed and everything were the German people. A lot of the Jews that lived there, of course, but the German people themselves, and some of his military officers couldn't stand him anymore because they knew that he was crazy. They knew that he was making stupid decisions, that he was doing, you know, dummy things. And so, yeah, it is. It's going to hit a wall, and people are going to finally wake up from everything that's going on. You know, we went to a dinner, and at the restaurant, it said, what did it say? We're raising prices.
Oh, yeah.
We're raising prices.
They apologized saying we're raising prices.
Yeah. And we wanted to put a sticker that said, thanks, Joe, you know.
Not this Joe.
Not this Joe.
No. The other Joe.
His Uncle Biden. So clearly.
All of a sudden. All right.
You always get me with that one. So
I do. No, now the turd bird starts.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah. We just named the chief of the turd birds there. So.
That was the chief of the turd.
So yeah, you know, there's so much stuff that's going on that people at one point have to wake up. I mean, you know, when Donald Trump got voted into office, he got voted in because people voted him in. When he didn't win the last election, it wasn't because so many people voted for the other guy. It's because they voted against Donald Trump, because there was such a negative stereotype put against him coming in, and part of it was this whole social justice thing.
The truth of the matter is that the Democrats had a better PR person. They had a better PR person because, and look what they're doing now. That's the same PR person. We really need to find this guy or girl because he's doing a fabulous
we need
job.
to hire him for our side.
I mean, my poor dad here, Trump, he can't get out of court. He can't get out of trouble, but he's still pushing ahead. You know what? And he's still pushing ahead. But this is the thing. This is the problem. And this is where these social warriors, social justice warriors come in, is they attack people like that, right? Like Donald Trump, he's this, he's that. I mean, do we forget how racist Joe Biden was? Did we forget that?
No.
I mean, I can't be the only one that's seen those videos. I mean, it's public record, right? You guys have seen it, right?
Yeah, he's racist. He's a sicko. I mean,
he's rapey, bro. He's rapey.
Dude, he's super rapey.
Yeah,
it's funny. They're like, well, Trump got caught on a hot mic saying he grabs
someone's
crotches.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Biden grabs crotches, okay? I mean,
and smells hairs, and I'm like,
oh man, he's and if nothing else, and we said this on the last episode, just compare the two men's kids. Just do that. If nothing else, just compare their kids. You got one guy that's got kids that are doing great
and tall, man,
and tall. They're all like 6 foot.
Yeah, bro.
I don't.
You don't have to bring that up, bro. Keep moving. Anyway,
and then the other one, I mean, it's just like cocaine and hookers. I mean, it's just like and
total opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
I mean, you go for these kids that got careers. They got right. They're doing their own.
They're
thing.
doing their thing.
This guy's over here sending illegal wiring of money to his dad and his uncles.
None of those kids drink.
Doing blow on the hooker's back. I'm like, man, this guy knows how to party.
Yeah.
But you know what? But you're right. I mean, again, guys.
You say it's like a bad thing.
Yeah. You say it like it's wrong, bro. It's wrong if your dad's the commander in chief.
Yeah, right.
But you're just any average Joe, bro. That's like a party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, but these social justice warriors, they shouldn't exist, right? We shouldn't have that. And I think it's about time that we start cracking down on these things because all they're doing is you're a public nuisance at this point.
Oh yeah.
You're arguing just to argue. You have no valid points. You have zero intelligence in what you're arguing about. Like for example, tell me about how can you what is fat liberation? And how is that even going to be helpful for anybody? All these social justice warriors that are out there, you guys, what do you guys fight for? Like, what is it? I mean, besides spewing hate across our nation, what really is bothering you? Like, do you need a hug? Do you need a hug?
Like, we give away free hugs.
We do hugs. I mean, we could do like a virtual one. Like, I know you guys don't like being touchy feely, but
gosh,
but no, they don't, bro.
They like Biden, and he's all touchy feely, so I don't get it.
Oh, bro. Yeah, but they have their reasons for that. You gotta, bro. It's a long thing. Anyway, it's ridiculous because I'll see there and I'm watching the news and there's a new type of or TikTok, bro. There are so many justice warriors on TikTok, right? Now what's that little girl with the big head that came on the UN was crying that we're going to die the earth in 5 years? Is
Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg, that girl.
Yeah.
Turd Bird General. She's over here about free Palestine, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah. I'm like, all right, look, Turd Bird. First it was the environment. Now you're just like pick something. It just stick with it, right? Like you already messed up in your calculations. You said in 5 years there wasn't going to be a world to grow up in, or 10 years. I don't know what she said.
Yeah.
But she's like, all she does is all I see is her videos of her getting arrested. That's all I see.
Oh, and they're fake. Have you seen them? Where they have them behind the scenes, and they're saying, "Okay, Greta, turn this way, turn that way. We're going to put you in cuffs. We're going to do this." It's all.
Bro, they're arresting her in Sweden. They don't even have jails in Sweden. I mean, like, what are you doing, people? There's not even cops over there. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? They're security guards. But The whole point is
It's
that
mall security.
it's mall
Just-
security. Paul,
I'm not knocking mall security.
Paul, was it Paul Blart?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, these social justice warriors, they go from cause to cause to cause, right? And it's everything that's like hot topic right now. So right now you
Yeah.
see all these social justice warriors about the war in Israel, right? Which we shouldn't even be involved, quite honestly. But you know what?
No, it's you know what?
It's not our war, man. Like, look, I understand
We're not the world's police.
if you're standing out there in the Red Sea with with dad's ships out there, you know what I mean, just kicking back, and you see a rocket going that should be going, neutralize it.
You knock it out of the sky.
I don't have a problem with
Got
that.
it.
I don't got a problem with that. But sitting over there getting involved in these politics, like,
No,
dude,
they're border disputes.
I
Truly.
look, man, I've seen them on both sides. There's kids dying on both sides.
Yep.
On both sides.
which we don't agree with. I mean,
do you remember that peace treaty that was done when Trump was in office?
I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Abraham Accords were pretty miraculous.
Pretty significant, man. That was
Yeah,
the
that he got
first
that
time
to
that's
happen.
ever happened. And then we got Jabroni here, Commander in Chief Turdbird, that war after war. Right now, that all of a sudden I'm watching these things on video, these videos saying that women might get what do you call it, drafted.
Oh yeah,
And I'm thinking, I'm like, the hell, my daughter ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? I'll go, but daughter ain't gonna go. You gonna fight these wars? I
No,
mean,
that's
come
silly.
on, man, that's ridiculous.
well, it's because they're trying to fight for this equal whatever. Just doesn't make any sense. Did you hear about Kim Jong-un over there in North Korea? He was saying how he feels that if Trump doesn't make it back into office in 2024, we're going to go to World War III.
I wouldn't doubt it, man. I wouldn't doubt it.
Now you think about it. That little dictator over there, he's a little, numbskull, and
Little turd bird.
and he knows, he sees the writing on the wall. I mean, these dang politicians, I was almost going to say the other D word, these dang politicians that are in office are so tied up with,
Social justice
well,
warriors.
yeah, with social justice warriors.
Let's be honest, they're out there fighting stupid things.
They
right?
are, but with the Raytheons of the world and all that, and they are warmongers, man. The more wars we can be in on the more fronts, they're going to make more money. They're going to.
I was going to say, war's about money, bro.
It
War's
is
about money.
100%. It
War
makes
about
tons of money.
money.
There's so much, because it's a way for them to pull taxes away from everything else.
And also, during some of these wars, it also gives them additional powers.
That's right.
So that's the other big key.
Oh man, if our people listen, if
Linda.
we get hit, Linda, listen, if we get hit, and it's coming, guys, it's coming. We will have another 9/11 on our soil. We've let enough people through that southern border, and this is what it has always been about. Anybody that knows me has heard me say this for probably the last decade. It's not about some young Mexican, Hispanic female that is coming across trying to get away from, God knows what's going on with her, with a couple kids in tow. It is about all the fighting age men that are coming across the border. Listen, throughout the world, nobody else has the whole social justice thing like we do. Women are women, men are men. Men fight wars in other countries, period. Men fight wars in countries, right? So what happens to the women and the children? The women and the children leave those countries. They flee those countries while the men stay back and fight, and the women and children leave. And what do? They go to other countries. So why is it in the European areas, in our southern border, where are all the women and children? Why is it fighting age men? Why are they running from their countries? Well, they're not running from their countries.
They're invading ours.
They're invading ours, yeah. And people have to start to wake up to this kind of thing. And all this social justice nonsense is exactly that. It's nonsense. It is a smokescreen over here. These, we were talking about Greta Thunberg, like climate activists they're barely a half a degree above the
normal intelligence.
Because man, to use some epoxy and glue your hand to the middle of the street, and then you can't get it up, and then you scream that
They need to do that more.
People need to.
I love it. I think that's genius. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Make sure you get that good cement, though, that good stuff, and just get in there, just work your hand in there. That police will not have any idea how to get you out there.
We're not sponsored by them, but JB Weld, that's great stuff. It's good for your.
You guys should just hold hands and kumbaya all the way down the street, and then the other one just grab a pole. I don't know. You guys are doing great.
It's just crazy. No, that drives me nuts when they go into like art galleries and stuff and throw paint on
expensive artwork.
Well, like irreplaceable art, and that does nothing for the environment. And most of you numbskulls have not done enough research to understand that half of the stuff that you're fighting for isn't helping the environment. So, wind turbines right now, those propellers and things like that, they're starting to have to, there's countries now that are just burying that stuff. They don't know what to do with it. Solar panels, every house I have solar panels on my house because I get cheaper electricity. I didn't do it to save the planet. I did it to save money. Why are they selling solar panels? Because they make money off of them.
Yes.
The thing is that the government, all these companies have admitted, even Elon Musk has said it, whether you like the guy or not, he's pretty darn smart. We've all kind of figured that out, right? And he's even said it. We don't know what we're going to do with all these solar panels. We can't recycle them because once they're all put together, you can't pull all that stuff out and everything. So
put them with the plastic cups.
Yeah. I mean,
do what Starbucks does. They give you a paper straw and a plastic cup.
Yeah. Oh man, that thing drives me nuts. So you go into a grocery store, you get people buy a thing of lettuce. It's in plastic. Every single potato chip bag and everything is all plastic. You get to the checkout counter, not in our state, but you're in California. Oh, we can't, no plastic bags. Are you kidding me? Half the stuff in my cart is plastic. And if these big
they'll give you plastic, you just got to pay for it.
You got to pay for it now. Yeah. So
that's going to help. That's going to help our recycling.
Right. See, so it's all about money. It comes back to money again. And one of the biggest
a good social justice warrior topic for us to start doing, bro.
Recycling?
Paper straws.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, it's just ludicrous how
I hate the way they stick to my lips and then it rips my skin because they're stuck on there like cardboard. And we need to fight that.
Yeah.
We got one, guys.
We got one. That's our next episode.
Man, there's so many turd birds out there, and guys, honestly, here's my biggest thing, guys. If you see these social justice warriors out somewhere near you, don't engage them. That's what they want. They want you to get in there and argue pure stupidity, ignorance, bro. And so let me tell you this, bro. Let me ask you this. To anybody out there, let me ask you, if you own a coffee shop, an ice cream shop, anything like that, think back to one of those social justice warriors that you've seen in the street. Would you hire those people? Would you hire them?
No.
Hell no, I wouldn't hire those people. I mean, like, let's be honest. I'm not going to hire someone like that. No, they're crazy.
Yeah.
I don't need that in my business, you
right.
know? So if I'm not going to hire them to do a job that's simple, like scooping ice cream, I'm not going to listen to them in the street.
Right.
I'm not going to listen to their little signs with all kinds of improper spelling and horrible punctuation. Right? I'm not going to listen to or read any of that stuff. I'm not going to engage. But here's the thing, man. This is how they're winning. They're in your face. They're like in your face, right? And you do that to them, oh my God, they're having heart attacks. They're calling the police, the same police that they wanted to defund. They're doing all these crazy things. But the moment that they do it to you, it's fine. This is America. It's freedom of expression and blah, blah, blah. But don't let a conservative do something like that. Don't let us talk to you about something about God or the Bible or talk to you about, pro-life because, the world's ending. Right? Yeah. You're calling the cops on us. We're horrible people. We should die. And I mean, have you heard those comments they made? Yeah. I mean, like, what is wrong with you?
These are definitely a double standard. We cannot say to them what they say to us. That is for sure.
And these are the people that society is listening to.
Yeah.
These are the ones that those Democrats are pushing agendas to, and everyone's following them. That's the problem. That's why they are winning. That's why right now in Congress, the Republicans are falling apart.
Right.
Because of these social justice warriors and their propaganda of hate.
Yeah.
Right. And because again, like you just said, if the tables were turned, you and I'd be in jail. You know what I mean? I mean, for other things. Right. But for this stuff too, I'm just saying. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. I hate it. And you know how I feel about it. And it's ridiculous.
Well, to kind of end with it, those, you started off with those folks that were, that broke into the Capitol, right? And they did arrest some of them, right? But I can guarantee you that none of them are going to get treated like the January 6th people. And, there's some of those folks that were held for a year plus, right?
Bro, they're giving them sentences.
And some of them they've already let go, but they were held for a year before they
in a federal prison.
In a federal prison that they didn't actually do anything wrong. Isn't that crazy? You didn't do anything wrong, and yet you were held for a year. And
they hadn't been charged. They hadn't even been charged.
And
that's happening in today's America, guys.
Well,
think about it.
I'll kind of leave it with this, and this isn't so much about the social justice warrior thing, but so you're telling me that and I don't know if you guys saw it. So let's say you agree with everybody going to jail on January 6th. There was like grainy photographs of some of those people. And they did so much research, and they captured so many of them. They found out who those people were. Okay. And I mean, the grainiest of grainy photos that were long distance photo or half a face, because somebody was in the crowd.
Yeah.
And they found these people. And you're telling me that they couldn't find out who left the cocaine in the White House?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So, and again, these folks, they're not.
Hunter.
Yeah.
I know it was you.
I know it was you, man.
Yeah. And remember,
I want to party with you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Bring those girls too, bro. I don't know who they are, but just bring them. I saw you slapping them around a couple times. Bring them. Anyway, dads, remember, dads against daughters dating Democrats.
There you go.
All right, guys, my new hat. How you doing?
Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I'm Jay, and that's Joe, and this has been Joe and Jay Outspoken. If you had fun or learned anything, do us a favor, like, subscribe, comment, and share. If there's been a topic you would like to see us cover in the future, let us know at joeandjayproductions.com/ideas. If you would like to help the cause, it can be as small as liking, subscribing, and commenting. You can grab merch from the Outspoken store or become one of our Patreon members. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Take care of one another.
And remember, do better, be better.
And as always, God bless America.